Welcoming everyone, I am starting another new episode of World Tribune. I am Nadim Mahmoud Nayan with you. If you are new to our channel, please stay with us by pressing the subscribe or follow button, and if you have already subscribed, thank you. So let's move on to our original report. What is a hypersonic missile? A hypersonic missile travels at speeds of Mach 5 and higher, 5 times faster than the speed of sound, 3,836 miles per hour, which is around 1 mile per second. Some missiles, such as Russia's upcoming Kh-47M2 Kinzhal air-launched ballistic missile, are allegedly capable of reaching Mach 10 speeds, 7,672 miles per hour, and distances up to 1,200 miles. For comparison, the U.S. Tomahawk cruise missile, the United States Navy and Royal Navy's go-to long-range missile system, is subsonic, traveling around 550 miles per hour and traveling a maximum distance around 1,500 miles. For a company that has one of the most seasoned histories in the U.S. defense market, dating back more than 40 years, it is no surprise that its role in supporting the field artillery needs of both its American and international customers is held in high regard. From the Army Tactical Missile System, ATACMS, to the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, HIMARS, we take a look at where the company's artillery focus lies today in this exclusive feature. An overview of hypersonic missiles. After a long hiatus, hypersonic missile research and development is back in full swing. Major powers, such as Russia, China and the US, have been racing to develop hypersonic missile, a missile system so fast that it cannot be intercepted by any current missile defense system. Hypersonic missiles will play a huge role in foreign policy in the years to come, as core pillars of geopolitics such as geography and technological power can be undermined by hypersonic missiles. And, given a recent uptick in successful tests from the likes of China and Russia, hypersonic missiles are much closer than we think, forcing a global reassessment of traditional notions of deterrence. Defense IQ wanted to explore this topic in greater detail, so we have sought the expertise of Dr. James Bosbaines, a UK-based specialist in defense and international affairs, with a particular focus on maritime and air force developments. What is a hypersonic cruise missile? This type of missile reaches its target with the help of a high-speed jet engine that allows it to travel at extreme speeds, in excess of Mach 5. It is non-ballistic, the opposite of traditional intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBM, which utilizes gravitational forces to reach its target. What is a hypersonic glide vehicle? This type of hypersonic missile utilizes re-entry vehicles. Initially, the missile is launched into space on an arching trajectory, where the warheads are released and fall towards the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. Rather than leaving the payload at the mercy of gravitational forces, as is the case for traditional ICBMs, the warheads are attached to a glide vehicle which re-enters the atmosphere, and through its aerodynamic shape it can ride the shockwaves generated by its own lift as it breaches the speed of sound, giving it enough speed to overcome existing missile defense systems. The glide vehicle surfs on the atmosphere between 40 to 100 kilometers in altitude and reaches its destination by leveraging aerodynamic forces. When hypersonic missiles become operational, the gap between missile defense systems and missile offense will be huge. Simply put, there is no operational missile defense system that is capable of intercepting a hypersonic missile, which is why the race to develop hypersonic weapons is such an important one. Hypersonic missiles remain a closely guarded secret, but in recent months, many governments have announced successful tests and future projects. What impact will hypersonic missiles have? Hypersonic missiles offer a number of advantages over subsonic and supersonic weapons, particularly with regard to the prosecution of time-critical targets, for example, mobile ballistic missile launchers, where the additional speed of a hypersonic weapon is valuable, Bosbaines said. It can also overcome the defenses of heavily defended targets, such as an aircraft carrier. The development and deployment of hypersonic weapon systems will provide states with significantly enhanced strike capabilities and potentially, the means to coerce. This will be particularly the case where a major regional power, such as Russia, may seek to coerce a neighbor, leveraging the threat of hypersonic strikes against critical targets. As such, the proliferation of hypersonic capabilities to regional states could also be destabilizing, upsetting local balances of power. However, it could also strengthen deterrence. In this regard, consider the implications of Iran deploying hypersonic weapons versus an Israeli deployment. Hypersonic weapons may also be problematic in terms of escalation control in the context of a NATO-Russia or US-China confrontation. This concerns dual-capable systems, that is, systems with both conventional and nuclear capabilities, for example, the Kinzhal. Basbayanis also explained that dual-capable systems raise the issue of discrimination. How does one know if the incoming threat is conventional or nuclear? In the context of hypersonic threats, this is compounded by the reduced time available to decision-makers to respond to an incoming threat. Moreover, the development of submarine-launched hypersonic missiles would raise the potential threat, real or perceived, of attempted decapitation strikes, utilizing the combination of the inherent stealth of a nuclear-powered submarine and the speed of a hypersonic missile. What is the difference between subsonic, supersonic and hypersonic? Subsonic missiles are slower than the speed of sound. Most well-known missiles fall into this category, such as the US Tomahawk cruise missile, the French Exocet, and the Indian Nirbhay. Subsonic missiles travel at a speed around Mach-0.9, 705 miles per hour. Subsonic missiles are slow and easier to intercept, but they still play a huge role in modern battlefields. Not only are they substantially cheaper to produce as the technological challenges have already been overcome and mastered, but subsonic missiles provide an additional layer of strategic value due to its low speed and small size. Once a subsonic missile has been launched, it can loiter in proximity to its intended target, as a result of its fuel efficiency. This, combined with its comparatively low speed, gives senior military decision-makers ample time to decide if a strike should be continued or abandoned. Comparatively, a hypersonic or supersonic missile compresses the time afforded to senior decision-makers into a matter of minutes. Supersonic. A supersonic missile exceeds the speed of sound, Mach 1, but is not faster than Mach 3. Most supersonic missiles travel at a speed between Mach 2 and Mach 3, which is up to 2,300 miles per hour. The most well-known supersonic missile is the Indian-Russian BrahMos, is currently the fastest operational supersonic missile capable of speeds around 2,100 to 2,300 miles per hour. Hypersonic. A hypersonic missile exceeds Mach 5, 3,800 miles per hour, and is 5 times faster than the speed of sound. Currently, there is no operational defense system that can deny the use of these strategic weapons. As a result, many world powers including the US, Russia, India, and China are working on hypersonic missiles. However, there are many technological hurdles to overcome, particularly with regards to sustaining combustion inside the missile system, while enduring the extreme temperatures of hypersonic speed. What countries are developing hypersonic missiles? There have been suggestions, including from senior US military officials, that THEUS has fallen behind Russia and China in the race for hypersonic missiles. This is to an extent true. United States hypersonic missiles. The US is developing a range of advanced hypersonic systems and has recently awarded Lockheed Martin contracts for the development of 2 systems. The Hypersonic Conventional Strike Weapon, $928 million, and AGM-183A Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, $480 million. With regards to current U.S. projects, Basbayanis says the U.S. has not focused to the same extent as Russia and China on the operational deployment of hypersonic capabilities. Moscow and Beijing both seek to counter U.S. missile defense systems and are developing respective anti-access, area denial capabilities. The U.S., in contrast, has not prioritized hypersonic systems to the same extent as Russia and China, and is pursuing arguably more advanced systems capable of long-range conventional precision strike, as opposed to nuclear-armed weapons where accuracy is not so important, although the Kinzhal, Sircon, Avangard and Chinese systems include conventional variants. That said, the U.S. can be accused of relying too heavily on its nuclear-powered aircraft carrier groups to project power. Russia and China will have the capability to hit carrier groups with hypersonic missiles before they can get in operational range to launch airstrikes, as the upcoming F-35 stealth fighter jets have a combat radius of 450 to 600 miles. Meanwhile, hypersonic missiles potentially have a range in excess of 1,200 miles. Current supersonic missiles, such as BrahMos, have a range of around 370 miles, but this can be increased with glide vehicles, meaning that carriers will have to move dangerously close to hostile territory to be effective. President Donald Trump signed the National Defense Authorization Act, which authorized a $717 billion defense budget for 2019. It is clear that the U.S. is aiming to bridge the gap with regards to missile technology, a gap which has widened over the last decade as Russia and China have poured resources into their respective hypersonic projects. United Kingdom and France hypersonic missiles. Since 2011, the Royal Navy and the French Navy have also been co-developing a hypersonic missile designed to replace the aging Harpoon and Exocet respectively. The missile, Perseus, is expected to feature an agile and stealthy airframe that is powered by a ramjet motor built around a high compact continuous detonation wave engine. It is expected to come into service around 2030. Chinese hypersonic missiles. China has a number of ongoing hypersonic projects. The nation is reportedly close to deploying a ballistic missile-launched hypersonic glide vehicle, the DF-17, and has publicly exhibited a scramjet-powered missile, the Ling Yun. Chinese operational doctrine calls for a weapon that would ward off U.S. carrier groups, keeping them out of their operational range. The DF-ZF is a short to mid-range hypersonic missile glide vehicle and, when operational, would be able to largely mitigate any potential threat stemming from U.S. carrier groups, fulfilling a long-term strategic goal without having to compete through naval strength. In addition, China has also allegedly performed successful tests of the Starry Sky 2 hypersonic vehicle. The Starry Sky 2 can achieve a top speed of Mach 6, 4,603 miles per hour, switch direction mid-flight, and can carry a payload consisting of either conventional warheads or nuclear weapons. It will likely take China another 5 years to make the weapon operational. Russian hypersonic missiles. Russian doctrine calls for short and long-range capability, as the Kremlin will have to contend with European NATO members as well as the US on the other side of the Atlantic. As such, Russia has an array of missiles that fit this purpose, such as the U-71, BrahMos 2 and the 3m-22 Zircon. In addition, Russia has deployed an operational hypersonic system, the Kh-47M2 Kinzhal air-launched ballistic missile, capable reportedly of attaining a speed of Mach 10 and a range of 1,700 miles, and is believed to be close to deploying a hypersonic cruise missile, the 3K-22 Zircon. The Zircon, a sea and ground-launched missile, is intended to attain high supersonic to hypersonic speeds, between Mach 4.5 and Mach 6, and have a range of 300 to 620 miles. Russia has also developed an intercontinental ballistic missile-launched hypersonic glide vehicle, Avangard, which may enter service in 2019. Can hypersonic missiles be stopped? Hypersonic missiles are so valuable because there is currently no operational or reliable method of intercepting them. However, as defense technology progresses, countermeasures will emerge. Technologies such as directed energy weapons, particle beams, and other non-kinetic weapons will be likely candidates for an effective defense against hypersonic missiles. Thank you so much for watching our report. To get such informative videos, subscribe to our World Tribune YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page. See you again in a new episode with a new topic. Stay well, then stay healthy.